and welcome to Rise, Heal, and Grow. I'm Leah M. Hill. This show is a podcast production of Apollo Sunrise Center, which is a health, wellness, and spiritual retreat center in Merrimack, Massachusetts. On this show, we shine the light on those who nurture wellness and inspire positive change. My guest today is Jean MacDougall-Tattan. She is a journalist, an author, turned author. She's an equine massage therapist and a Reiki master practitioner. Welcome, Jean.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today. This is great to talk to you about this incredible journey that you've had from that started in journalism, and then worked your way into equine massage, which is really fascinating. I definitely want to talk about that and learn more about that in Reiki, and also writing your books as well. So what wove all of these practices together? How did that all transpire for you?
Well, journalism was the one thing that didn't fit with everything else that I was doing, because I'd been doing it for decades. I started out as a freelance columnist and then went to college, finished my bachelor's degree, and then part-time copy editor, reporter, all of it. But I started to become at odds. While I was editor-in-chief of the newspaper, I started to become at odds with my profession, because I started to see it as a little bit more destructive than constructive.
Really?
With the sensational headlines and a really good reporter goes out because there's more than one perspective to every story. Right. And you go out the way I was trained, you go out and you get those two different perspectives, or three, whatever it is, you bring them back, you weave them into a story with equal weight, each perspective equal weight, and no bias on the part of the reporter, and let the reader decide what the outcome is.
Right.
And that seemed to be a thing of the past. The objectivity was leaving journalism.
So you were under pressure to have to project an opinion, or to project a vision?
It was the way I saw the industry go.
The whole industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't like just where you were working.
Oh, no,
or
no,
anything.
no.
It was just
the whole industry.
Okay. The whole industry was changing and shifting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And so I decided, when it came to a head, when I decided to leave, I was riding my daughter's horse and I got thrown and broke my back.
Oh my gosh.
So I was out of work for 3 months, and it was my chiropractor, my acupuncturist, and my massage therapist that helped me have a 100% recovery with no surgery.
That's amazing.
And so while I was out for those 3 months, you have a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
And I was just saying to myself, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
The outcome could have been so different. Like, you could be dead.
Absolutely.
You could be paralyzed.
Could have hit your head or something. Yes,
Yet
definitely.
here you are.
Right.
And so what are you doing? And people thought that I was crazy to leave, because what they said to me was, you're editor-in-chief of the local community newspaper. How can you leave such a prestigious position? Like, you have such stature in the community. But none of that means anything if you're not happy.
No, no. And that's amazing how the universe does that, right?
Yes.
The universe brings us these situations like that where you're actually, it was a tragic event, but you were forced to look at your life.
It was a wake-up call.
A wake-up call.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I made the decision, because I've been doing massage and Reiki for horses forever, and dogs, that maybe it was time, because of how my team healed me. It was time for me to shift to people.
Okay.
And so I applied to massage school, and it was this great little school in Hudson, New Hampshire, called the New Hampshire Institute for Therapeutic Arts. And I applied, and they had me come in, and they said to me, we would love to have you here, but there's no way you can do this and do the job you're in. Because I was still at the newspaper.
Oh, right.
And so
it's just too much.
It was too much. She said, you will not survive that.
Right.
Because I was working 50 to 60-hour weeks.
Oh,
at the
right.
paper.
Oh, and then to start building a business. Oh, yeah.
So
totally.
I said, will you keep my application on file for another year? And she said, yes. And I found a position in healthcare. I was working. I was a healthcare reporter and a political reporter before I became editor-in-chief. So I knew all the doctors in the city. And so I took a job at the hospital in physician relations and public relations. negotiated.
Wow.
They wouldn't negotiate up my salary, so I negotiated down my hours to 32.
Okay.
And then I could
So then
go
you
to
worked it
massage
out.
school.
That's
Yeah,
how-
and I did
Again,
that.
another way that the universe works
Yes,
things out for us,
absolutely.
where you wouldn't have had that opportunity otherwise because you were working so many hours. And
That's
it sounds
right.
like a very intense position.
It was very intense.
Very intense, lots of responsibility. You couldn't have
Yeah.
split your time or tried to make it work. But then you were able to do that,
Yeah.
to find what worked for you.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
So that led you into doing the massage work and energy work as well, or?
Well, I was
did that
already,
come
already doing the Reiki.
You were already doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my foray into the Reiki was actually kind of interesting because my first work with energy was with Tai Chi.
Oh,
so
yes.
I took instruction for 8 years
Oh, wow.
with this lovely man who was originally from Salem, Mass. And about 6 years into it, my energy shifted. And I was getting really, really frustrated, and he could see it. He was so intuitive. So he sat down next to me one day, and he said, what's going on with you? He said, like, your feet aren't even on the ground right now.
Really?
And I said, well, I'm having a really hard time because you keep telling me to pull my energy up through my root, and it's not there. It's coming through my crown. And I spend my whole time in class trying to reverse it. And
Okay.
so he put his hand on my shoulders, and he said, Tai Chi was just your first step with energy, my dear. You are a healer. You need to go
Oh my
do
gosh,
Reiki.
so that was what led you to Reiki.
That was what led me to Reiki, yeah.
Wow, sometimes
Yeah.
that's all you need is just like one little push,
Yep.
just someone to give you that nudge that you need at that time. That when, like you said, you can't see it for yourself.
No.
Like your experience, you just knew
I didn't
that-
know what it meant.
You didn't know what it was. Yeah, what was happening.
He had to tell me.
Well,
Yep.
that's great. That's great that
Yep.
we have people in our lives sometimes that do that help us.
I feel like everybody that is
Awaken.
in your life is there for a reason.
Yeah.
And everything that
Yeah.
happens to you is for a reason.
Right.
And it's not always a bad thing.
Right,
You know,
right.
It feels bad at the time, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's the best thing that could ever happen to you.
Just a redirection,
Yeah.
exactly, right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the horse for first. Now, this was Biz.
Yes.
Biz was the horse that you originally adopted for your daughter?
Yeah, he was
that-
the reason I got into equine massage, period, because
Oh.
when we adopted him, he was in pretty rough shape. Like he hadn't been exercised in a really long time. He was very much underweight.
Oh.
He was at a great facility. He got the best of custodial care, but for some reason, the owner kind of became absent, and he was put into our path. You know, that's the only
Yeah.
thing I can say. I
Yeah.
had called an ad for one horse, and the woman and her daughter decided at the end of the day not to sell that horse. So she said to me, call my friend. She's got a horse that's for sale. He's
Oh.
absolutely gorgeous. You know, they'll take payments, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And that was how I went to see him, and we wound up bringing him home. But he was in such bad shape that we needed to first put a lot of weight on him, and then I needed to help him get back into shape. And it's just like you or I, if we haven't been exercising for a while and all of a sudden we're put into work,
Oh, yeah.
we hurt.
It hurts,
Yeah.
definitely, yes.
So I had heard, it was really not popular back then, but I had heard whispers about horse massage. And so I searched and I found a video, and then I found a book, and then there was a demonstration that was going to be happening up in Raymond, New Hampshire. So I attended that, and then it helped Biz so much. And then other people started asking me if I could work on their horses. And I figured, well, if I'm going to do that, I really should be certified. So I
Yeah.
enrolled in equestrage and went down to Virginia
Oh
and
my
came back up with my
gosh.
certification.
Love
and
it.
started a practice.
Right. So just explain that a little bit. You're standing next to the horse and doing the massage just like you would like a person's muscles, just like
It's a little different because
Okay.
there's so much muscle mass with
Right.
a horse. You know, like
Right.
the smallest horse is going to be probably about 800 pounds. Biz was
Oh my gosh.
1,284.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
when you're working on an animal that's that big, you learned pretty quick to take a step back from the animal And when you put your hands on, use your body weight to lean in,
Right.
so you're not straining yourself. It's your whole body that's, working on them.
Right.
They're quadrupeds, so it's a little bit different, how the muscles work.
Yep.
But it's no different than you and I getting on all fours and, working with it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I know for people how therapeutic massage is, right? For people, I can only imagine that it would make sense that it would help the horse so much.
Yeah.
You
need to have it. There are a lot of massage therapists that'll call me and say, I love horses. I think I'm going to start doing that. If you don't understand body language with horses, you can get in trouble pretty quick, because you have to know if the ears go back a little bit, if they turn and they look, and you could get kicked. Because their response,
so you got to read those signs.
Yeah,
and
you absolutely have to know horses in order to do that, or at least know how to keep yourself out of harm's way.
Hence the certification.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why you need to get certified.
I mean, if it's your horse and you just want to, I'll show lots of people how to work on their horse in between me getting, to them again.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important. I think whatever you can do with your horse to make them feel more comfortable, to want you to be around them, that touch, that bond is invaluable. So I encourage people to do that all the time.
The trust, yeah. So adopting Biz and bringing him to his best health, I would say, through all this work that you did, this changed the direction of your life.
My whole life.
Your whole life, wow. Yeah. And what impact did it have on your daughter?
Biz changed everything.
Everything.
Absolutely everything. I mean, my husband even sold his boat to build the barn on the property so we could bring him home.
Oh, right.
So,
that's so great.
I mean, one parent said to me once when my daughter was showing, but we didn't own a horse yet. He said to me, he goes, they're expensive. But it's a lot better than bail money.
Oh, right.
Because it teaches them responsibility and commitment, and and that horse is depending on you, kind of thing. But when we got him, Jillian I think she was 10 years old, and he was 16 too, and he weighed that much. So a lot of his care, simply because of the size differential with those two, had to be on me, and that was okay. Like, I grew up riding Western on trail rides. I had no desire to show at all. I found it really stressful.
Okay.
But Jillian started riding lessons in a barn that showed. And so she was kind of drawn into that. And, I said to her, as long as your father and I can financially afford to do this for you, we're here.
Yeah.
But I want you to know that when you're done with doing this, like when you don't want to show anymore, I don't care about it. So you can do whatever you want. There's no pressure from me.
Okay.
And I was...
well, that's good. It gave her some freedom.
Yeah, and
what she wanted to do.
I wasn't one of those show moms that was outside the outgate of the show ring lambasting their child because they made a mistake in the ring, because I didn't care. I just wanted her to have fun.
Yeah.
I wanted her to learn. And I always felt like the show, you take your lessons, you do your training. The show is the test.
Yeah.
And so that's on her and her riding instructor. I have no place in that.
Wow.
So she would come out, and the teacher would say to her, "Do you know what you did wrong?" And she'd go, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, let's go over and work on it." But I don't like that yelling and screaming at kids.
No, definitely. And it sounds like too what your daughter could learn, not only, like you said, the responsibility and understanding how much it costs to own a horse and to take care of this animal. But as we were talking with a few other equine therapists on some of the other episodes about how the horses help us heal, and by mirroring our energy and our emotions and kind of showing it right back to us, I can imagine that your daughter learned all of those skills, healing skills.
Without knowing it.
Right, exactly, without knowing it.
Yeah.
And that, just being able to observe the behavior of the horse and understand what that means for her, and creating this trust bond with the animal, I imagine goes, well beyond any of the training. You know what I'm saying? Just having that experience.
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
wonderful. Wow, great. And so you went from that to transitioning to writing a book.
I did.
About let's show the book, Biz's Journey
This
Home.
was the first one, Biz's Journey Home. Yep.
Okay, and we can show the second one too.
Yep.
And
the
because
sequel.
of Buzz, because of Biz. So
Yep.
tell us what the first book is about. And how the process, because you had an interesting process of how you ended up writing this book, too.
I did, yeah, because people laugh at me when I say that, my goal was never to be an author. It never was. Just as a massage therapist for horses in and out of barns all over, I started to notice things that I didn't like. I feel like when you're working with animals, it should be a firm voice, kind hands, and consistency that help you train, just like with a child.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be
Right.
any kind of abuse if a horse doesn't do what you ask.
Right.
Yet when I was in some of these barns, I would see people whipping their horses because they were mad at them because they wouldn't.
God.
The horse just wouldn't set his head properly. And usually that's the rider error when that doesn't happen.
Right.
So.
Wow.
And it was with a dressage whip, with their, they're long and really thin, and they can pack a punch, because that's a lot of pounds per square inch of pressure going on a little bit of skin when it comes down.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so the horse had a couple of bleeding welts on him, and I was horrified by that. And I noticed that like nobody, I'm a guest in a barn when I'm there, so I have to be careful with protocol. Over the years, I learned not to, but. I just watched and nobody tried to stop that.
Yeah.
And then I saw a little girl whipping her horse, trying to get him to load into a trailer. And I thought that was so counterintuitive because the last place I would go with someone with a whip in their hand who was abusing me would be into a confined area with no means of escape.
Oh gosh, the
So
total fear that comes up, I can imagine.
What's going on here?
Right.
And I started to wonder if this type of behavior was just pervasive and acceptable in the horse world. And if that was the case, I felt like it needed to stop. And if the adults were trickling that message down, if the message was so ingrained in them that it was kind of a lost cause to try to reach them, that maybe we needed a different message to trickle up from the children.
Okay.
So I wrote the original Biz's Journey Home. It was 103 pages, completely told from Biz's point of view.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I soon found out that back in those days, publishers were not interested in books with talking horses. It was like, no, 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 no.
Oh,
and
that's
I
so
was
frustrating.
It was. And I was... I got frustrated because what they wanted me to do was change the perspective to the little girl that was in the story, but not from her perspective.
To make her the main character and the horse be the, I get that.
But that wasn't my mission.
Right.
That wasn't my message because I wanted children to have a better idea of what horses thought about us because of the way we treated them.
Yeah.
So that wasn't going to deliver my message by changing the perspective. So I said no, and it just sat in a filing cabinet until I retired. And that was when one of the doctors that I worked with at the hospital, when he found out, he always loved that I was a journalist because he loved to write. And when he found out I had a manuscript, he said to me, you should send that to my friend Kathy. She's a writing coach out in the Midwest. She got me published.
Oh.
He said, so send it to her.
Wow,
So
another universal
yes.
thing. I love this.
So I sent her an email, and she said, send it to me. And I told her how long it was, and I said, there's no rush, get to it when you can. So she sent it back to me, and she said, you have a great skeleton of a book here. She said, the bones are great.
Skeleton,
And
okay.
she said, the story is wonderful.
Okay.
But we need to go back now and put more meat on the bones and make these characters more three-dimensional. So by the time she and I were done working, that 103-page manuscript told from one perspective was 525 pages.
Oh my goodness.
And told from 7 different perspectives.
7?
Yeah, it was 4 people and 3 horses.
Wow, you're kidding.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Well, then we ran into the problem of
Oh my God.
Publishers said it was too long.
Oh no.
You know, because they didn't
After
want
all that work.
Yeah, I know. They didn't want. If I was Stephen King, they wouldn't have cared how long it was because they knew it was going to sell.
Right, right.
But that extra $1 or $2 of cost for that extra thickness of that book for printing, could be what deters someone from buying a book by a first-time author. They don't know. They don't know if they're going to like it. So they kept saying, you know, you need to cut it.
Right.
So, but I couldn't see how I could cut the book by a third.
Oh, gosh.
Without cutting the heart out of the story and the life out of the characters. Yeah. And so I wanted people to get the whole story all at once. Mm-hmm. But, you know, my writing coach, Kathy, she said to me, she said, listen, your original manuscript, when I got it, actually ended 2/3 of the way through this book. But you thought it wasn't positive enough. I thought it was. You didn't think it was positive enough, so you wanted to keep going. She said, let's just cut it there.
Right.
And then you have 1/3 of your next book done for your sequel.
Isn't that helpful?
Well, it was, and I had to go back through and really create a new ending because I really wanted the ending that was in this book to be the ending.
Right,
right.
Know, so this is a novel. This is a,
yes.
But is it based on your experience with Biz or?
I mean, like with anything that's fiction, there's always some truth that's involved
what I'm
in
thinking,
there.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
But I honored Biz by giving the horse, the main character in the horse perspectives was Biz. And I wanted to honor him because he was such a beautiful teacher of mine by giving the horse the name, the color, the breed, you know, the age was him. But the story itself is not really his.
Right, but it's
pieces of it that are in there. But
so I love that it was this message, you know, that you wanted to get this message out about how painful it is and traumatic for these horses to be abused in this way and treated like a tool as opposed to being treated like a companion, you know, a friend. You know, whatever word you might choose, but to treat a horse like a tool and a tool that you can bang on or whip or something and injure it. And to take that message and then create the book around it, to create the story so that it's not just for, I mean, it has a young girl in the story, but it's not just for young adults. It's for adults, young adults, probably a whole wide range of ages, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, how the horse is treated depends on why the person has the horse. You know, do they have a horse because they want the bond, or is it because they have the prestige of having the horse?
Right.
Do they have the horse and look at it as a partner, or do they feel like they're an owner? Because I really believe from the center of my being that we never truly own any other living thing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't.
No.
We think we do, but we don't. And, but they are in our care. And so how we care for them is what determines what our relationship is going to be with them. And I try to push this point with children because I feel like you can bully a horse and win, but it's going to be for the short term because eventually that horse is going to turn on you. So how safe you are with your horse depends astronomically on the bond that you create with that horse and the trust that that horse has with you. Because if there comes a point where you're in trouble, that horse will help you if you're kind.
Right. And think about what that teaches the young girls or young people in our society about being a leader. Right?
Oh,
being
absolutely.
a leader out in the working world, out when, you know, in society about how we treat people. Yeah, you know, you can treat your employees that way and belittle them and be belligerent but they'll turn on you. And then sometimes if they all quit on you, you're going to end up being there all by yourself, stuck there all by yourself. So that's a really great lesson in a way that they can learn it in a way that they're receptive to.
Well, one scene that is in the book, because I had to put it in there, actually happened to me, and it was Biz. So we built the barn and we brought Biz home, And I mean, we weren't wealthy people, so one of the ways that we afforded Biz was that we had an extra stall that we rented and took care.
Right.
We had a boarder. And this one particular boarder, he came under he wasn't happy that he was moved from his home that he'd been in forever. And he had a bit of an attitude. So Jillian was young, she was out there cleaning the paddock one day, and this horse tried to run her down.
Oh my
out there.
goodness.
And so I said to her, listen, he's never tried this stuff with me, and I'm a lot more confident. I'm not aggressive, but I'm assertive when I'm around, big animals.
Yeah.
And so I said to her, I don't want you out there cleaning the paddock anymore. That's on me. You stay safe.
Yeah, wow.
So I was out there cleaning, and I heard this snort. And I remember thinking, oh my God. And I turned and I looked, and he was pawing the ground.
Oh my
and
goodness.
He ran at me. And where I was in the paddock, it was I was kind of in a corner where I couldn't escape. The fence over here was too high for me to jump. The back of the barn was here.
Right.
And if I tried to run this way to get away from him, there's no way he wouldn't have caught up with me.
Right.
So
Oh my
I was
God, that's
standing
scary.
there. Yeah, it was really scary.
Wow.
And so I just thought, oh dear God, And I stood there for a minute, and I'm trying in my brain while I'm trying to figure out, should I brace? Should I try to loosen my body to absorb the impact so I don't get really badly hurt?
Because he was going to just ram you right into the
he
fence.
was. And so
Wow. Oh my God.
I heard him coming, and I felt the ground rumbling. And then I didn't get hit.
Really?
I didn't
my
get
heart is
hit.
pounding right now.
Yeah.
What? Oh my God,
And
what
when I was
happened?
brave enough to turn and look, Biz had him pinned against the back wall of the barn with his teeth in his neck, wouldn't let him touch me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then if there was any doubt about what I had witnessed, he released him, and he turned very quickly and looked to see where I was.
Yeah.
And then he lunged his neck straight out again with his ears pinned and his teeth bared at that horse.
Oh my God.
Like he was daring him to try it again.
Yeah.
And I stood there dumbfounded because I always knew that a mare would do that to protect her foal. And I figured a stallion would probably do that to protect his women and his children. But I never knew until that moment that a horse would do that to protect a person.
Oh my goodness, what a story.
Yeah, and so I thought,
oh my God. I mean, that
you take care of them, they take care of you.
Yes, exactly. That horse could have killed you or, paralyzed you or something, just like had worse damage than when you had that fall. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
wow.
I still get emotional when I think about it.
Of course.
Because he was just
I was feeling it as you were telling the story. I was like feeling the whole thing. I'm like, oh my God, my heart was pounding.
Yeah, the first thing I did was hug that horse.
Yeah.
Put the other one in the stall, and
of course.
just hugged him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so scary. But thank you for sharing that because it's so important for people to realize that, like you said.
Yeah.
Like if you hadn't loved and cared for Biz that much, and then he might not have done anything to try to help you in that situation.
He really loved us. Like if we went away on vacation,
Yeah.
we'd come back, and the person that stayed at the house, because you had to have somebody stay there, they're
Right.
like, all he did was stand in the paddock and stare at the door waiting for you to come out.
Oh, of course.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Me
what a
and
beautiful
Jillian.
story.
No, it was both of us. Yeah.
Thank you. What a beautiful story. Oh my gosh. All right. So that story is in the first book.
Yes, it is.
And then the second book is a sequel.
Yep.
And now you're working on a third?
Yes.
You have another one coming
I do.
out? All right.
And it's not, the third book is not, it's the same characters that are in these books, but it's a deeply different storyline. Through these two books, the mother in the story, she had a very painful childhood, but she doesn't talk about it. Like she alludes to it, but she's very vague in detail.
Yeah.
Because she kind of likes to not think about it. But in book 3, she's being drawn back into the family, and she's trying to decide whether this is what she really wants to do. So it's told in flashbacks
Okay.
about all the things that happened. And it winds up being a lovely story of healing between a mother and daughter, and it's about redemption.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, I got it. I
good.
can't wait to read all these.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with book 1 and work my way through. So I hope the 3rd one comes out soon.
It'll probably be another year.
Yeah, okay.
I
That's
finished
all right.
writing it. I'm going to start working with Kathy, have her eyeball it for me before I start marketing it. And I think I might do the agent route this time. So, yeah.
Good.
But we'll see.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So I want to also just mention that in addition to the Reiki work that you're doing, you're exploring sound healing. You're going to become trained at that actually at Apollo Sunrise Center. Because
Which is literally down the street from my house.
That's right,
Yeah.
in Merrimack, Massachusetts. So you are going to be, the end of October, participating with Sacred Sounds. Lauren and Julie are fabulous. They're wonderful trainers. So you're going to be trained in sound healing and also incorporate that for horses as well?
Well,
or?
you know, I've never seen, like, horses are so sensitive to energy, vibration, all of it. They are so in tune with their environment. I mean, they are preyed upon animals, so they rely on their instincts for everything. I mean, as far as people, they know what you're all about the second they lay eyes on you. They know your energy, they know your intentions. The last thing anybody can assume is that horses are stupid, because they are not
definitely
highly
not.
intelligent. I've seen what Reiki does. You know, I worked on one horse. This is probably one of the best cases. He was a retired saddlebred, and he had a lot of pain in his suspensory ligaments in the back legs. And he was in such pain that he wasn't getting much rest. And I went out there and I worked on him with Reiki, and he laid down in the stall and slept for 2 hours after I was done working on him. So, I mean, once you experience that, you're kind of hooked. You want to do it all the time.
Wonderful.
But sound, I don't know. I haven't experienced I haven't seen that with horses, but I really want to.
You're going to explore it.
Yeah,
Great.
I really want to.
So if people want to learn more about you or find your books, where do they go? How can they find you?
My website is Jean MacDougall-Tattan.com, and you can buy books on there. There are links to purchase them. You can email me for autograph copies or book sets. You know, I can do all of that. And I will be at Voices of the Valley.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up November 1st and 2nd at Apollo Sunrise Center. You'll get to meet Jean in person, buy her books, get them signed maybe too.
Oh, sure,
get them
of course.
signed, and you'll be a panel speaker too.
Yes.
So get to hear you speak too.
Yep.
And the registration for that is free and it's open to the public, but you do need to register, and you can do that at apollosunrise.com. Again, it's Voices of the Valley. We're featuring lots of local authors, speakers. It's going to be a really fun, great event to whether you're an aspiring reader, an author, or anyone that just likes books and wants to do something fun too. So please join us, and thank you for joining us here today on the show. It was wonderful to have you, Jean. And please tune in next time. We have lots more episodes coming up.